mute your mic. Soliu, Saminu, mute your mic, please. Remaining two of you, please, you mute your mic. Soliu, Saminu, and the Janet Magaji, please mute your mic. Thank you. It's like Janet has muted her mic. Yes, please. Soliu, Saminu, please mute your mic, please. Bako Anslem, please mute your mic. Dahiru Ibn Mohammed, mute your mic. Soliu, Saminu, please mute your mic. Soliu, Saminu, mute your mic, please. Pastor Olaomi Gideon, please mute your mic. So that others can hear, please. Dahiru Ibn Mohammed, please mute your mic. Okay, Pastor, thank you very much. Dahiru Ibn Mohammed, please mute your mic. Dahiru. So let's continue. Now let's take a look at soil health. You know, I made mention of, I was careful not to tell you that soil is a living organism. So I was careful not to tell you that soil is a living organism. Soil contains, like I said, it contains both living and non-living things. Living things like animal, living things like plants, non-living things like rock, like minerals. All these are things that you can find in soil. Now, please, thank you very much, everybody. I believe all the distance are now okay. So you can see all of us will be hearing, you'll be hearing what I'm saying. And I want to thank each and every one of you that is participating, about 37 of you. So now, soil is so important because before this training runs out, I will tell you how to handle your soil and maximize its productivity. It is very, very important. You can really maximize, you know, soil. If you understand soil, you will get the best out of it. Just like animal, if you understand your animal in animal production, you get the best out of it. If you understand human being, you will get the best out of human being. Now, soil, talking about health, let us take a look, let us juxtapose it, the soil health and that of human health. All of us are here now participating in this training because by the grace of God, we have sound health. Just imagine a situation where somebody is having maybe toothache. You will discover that no matter how, no matter how powerful this training is, the person will not enjoy it because the person is not enjoying sound health. So, and when the person is enjoying sound health, you can move around, you can do your optimum, as you can perform your productivity with your activity. You will give your best. Isaac, please mute your mic. Isaac, Philip, mute your mic, please. Saminu, please mute your mic. Now, for soil health, please, if you don't want to mute your mic, the admin will remove you, please. Make this easier for others. We have very distinguished personalities among us. Soliu, Saminu, mute your mic. Mr. Raymond, please, Director Technical, please, you can catch. I don't know if you have access to his number, just chat into, or you remove him. So let's go back to soil health. Like I said, when you have health, you do your best. When you have health, you produce. When you have health,
suggestion. The admin can mute them. The admin can mute them.
Okay, please, admin, mute. For me, he's not even part of this training. Admin, please mute his mic. His noise will not be affecting others. So let's go to soil health. Now, for soil health, it refers to like its ability to function as a living system. Soil functioning as a living system to sustain plants, to sustain animals, to sustain human beings, to also ensure environmental sustainability. That's to sustain the environment as well. So now, healthy soil promotes good plants. It maintains biodiversity, that is for the environment. It supports carbon sequestration, like I said earlier. It traps what do you call it? It traps carbon. It traps carbon so that it will not harm the environment and the earth. It also filters, it has a very good soil. God has made it in such a way that it can filter, pollutants from the soil. Now, it ensures the recycling of nutrients. Nutrients move around, so that plants can get it. Now, we talk about what are the indicators of a fertile soil. Now, the capacity of soil to provide essential nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to plants. That is, a healthy soil should be fertile enough to give out nutrients to the plants. Healthy soil typically has a balanced pH and the right level of nutrients. I will also talk about soil pH. Soil pH is so important, that soil pH can even determine the type of crops you plant in a soil. Now, the next indicator of a good soil is that the soil must have good microbial activities. The presence and activity of beneficial microorganisms, including bacteria, fungi, and earthworms, are key to soil health. These organisms break down organic material. They help in fixing nitrogen, and they help in contributing to soil structure by aggregating soil particles. Now, for those of us, any one of us here that is like 50 and above, that maybe grew up in the village, you discover that even our forefathers and mothers, that we are farmers, even without education, can easily support a good soil. For instance, they will tell you that maybe when you go to a soil where you have the cast, that is the earthworm cast, they will tell you that that region, that place is fertile because there is soil microbe. Earthworm is a soil microbe, soil animal that helps to make the soil healthy. If the soil is not healthy, the earthworm will not be there. So earthworm helps to burrow, goes inside. By the time it goes, it helps to break the soil into smaller pieces. It also ingests this soil and now pass it out, as something that has been processed, so that it now becomes a very healthy soil for the plant. Also, during my nitrogen fixation, there is this azobacteria that is attached to the noodles. That is all these granules, soya beans, that is pulse, leguminous plant noodles. nodes. So these bacteria attach there, and as they attach there, they help to attract, be able to do nitrogen fixation. So these are soil microbes. They also help in breaking down soil into smaller pieces. For instance, some of those fungi, some of those bacteria, that is beneficial bacteria, fungi, and the earthworm, as well as microorganisms, when they are burrowing, that is, they are penetrating into the soil, they are breaking the soil. And when they break the soil, it will even result to soil erosion. It will result to, aggregating the soil to make the soil better. So, a good soil also must have good structure and texture. That is a healthy soil. A well-structured soil has good porosity and the right balance of solid particles and voids, allowing for effective root penetration, air circulation, and the water retention. Now, the soil structure we are talking earthworm. I talked about earthworm playing its own role. It plays its role. So by burrowing, when it burrows, hole is created. When it burrows, some soils are broken down. When it burrows, air is created. So where water can enter. So, and when water enters, it meets. Remember, the soil originally is coming from rocks, and this rock contains various chemical elements. So, and when water come in contact with it, chemical reaction takes place, and this will now further maybe break these rocks or smaller stones into smaller particles that will later result to good soil. Now, another thing is that a healthy soil will also have a very good soil pH. Soil pH influences nutrient availability to plants. Farmers, are you hearing it? Soil pH influences nutrient availability to plants. Soil with a pH of 6 to 7 are generally ideal for most crops, as this range optimizes nutrient uptake. Farmers, I hope you can hear this. If your soil, you use pH meter or litmus test, or you use a litmus paper, or use any form tool to test your soil and discover that it is between 6 and 7, you are having a good soil, because it will now ensure nutrient availability to plants. So it is also ideal for crops. Though there are crops that tolerate either soil that is alkaline or soil that is acidic. Now, what do you call it? pH. You have 0 to 14. So between 6 and 7 is where you find neutrality. So because it is neutral around that zone, so it allows these nutrients, to play their own role. There are nutrients that don't like acid, that is acidic medium or acidic region. There are also nutrients that don't like alkaline medium or alkaline region. So, and you know that from 1 to 6 is acidic, while from 8 to 14 is alkaline. So now that's what happened. Your soil must have good soil pH. A good soil, also a healthy soil, must have organic matter content. The more organic matter in soil, the healthier it is. Organic matter helps retain nutrients. Organic matter helps retain moisture. Organic matter serves as food for soil organisms. You can see what happens to the organic matter. Those dead plants, those dead animals, those plant waste, animal waste that becomes organic matter. You can see what they do. They help to retain nutrients. They help, to retain moisture. They hold water. They also help. They become food for the organism, because when the organisms are trying to eat this organic matter, activities is taking place. Soil is being breaking down. Porosity is being enhanced in the soil, and this will bring about erosion. They will also be taking part of the food to various regions of the soil, thereby making the soil to be fertile. Now, let's now look at the area that concerns us as farmers. What is the importance of soil, for agricultural productivity? Soil is the foundation of agriculture, and its health directly impacts crop yield, food quality, and sustainability. Now, key ways in which soil support agricultural productivity, we are going to look at it. But know it that whether you are into animal production, whether you are into plant production, any chain of any chain of agriculture you are in, any area that is agricultural enterprise you are in, know the importance of soil. If the soil is not good, it will affect you agricultural. It will affect the agricultural productivity. Now, one of the importance of agriculture soil for that is that it supplies nutrients to the plants. That's one of the things it does. It supplies nutrients to plants. Nutrient supply. Another thing it does for us agriculturally is that water management. Soil helps manage water by absorbing rainwater and storing it for later use by plants. The porosity and the texture of soil influences its ability to retain moisture. It also ensures that plants receive adequate hydration without water loss. Remember the example I gave in hydroponic. Hydroponic, you need nutrients and water. Nutrients and water. So the pipe there will act as anchorage. That is, you perforate the pipe and put your plant. It will hold the plant from not falling. But what the plant needs, the plant root, you discover that if you have seen a hydroponic farm, if you have gone to a greenhouse, you have seen a hydroponic farm. You will see when they are harvesting their cabbage, their lettuce, when they bring it out, you see that there is no soil on the roots. It's just water. So it's because the water contains nutrients. Now, another importance of soil for agricultural productivity is root growth. Soil provides roots for plants to grow and expand, absorbing nutrients and water. The structure of the soil can either facilitate or hinder root growth. Well-drained, loose, and aerated soil encourage robust root systems, leading to healthier and more productive plants. Farmers, anyone that is a farmer here, you will notice that if the soil, the place your farm has very hard soil, how do you feel? What happens to your plant? You discover that the roots will not penetrate the way it's supposed to penetrate when that soil is soft, when that soil is loose, when that soil is erected. Especially if you look at tubers crop like cassava, you discover that by the time you harvest it, you will just see small root. You see it did not penetrate. A soil that is loose, a soil that is well aerated, a soil that have nutrients. As you are trying to harvest your cassava, just 2, 3, 4 stems, you are okay, because the roots will penetrate, and then now, since it is a tuber crop, it will now develop into tubers. Soil also, the importance for agricultural productivity is that for soil conservation, practices such as crop rotation, agroforestry, and a reduced tillage help preserve the soil. It helps to prevent erosion. It helps to, prevent degradation and loss of fertility, soil fertility. Soil conservation improves long-term agricultural productivity and reduces the need for artificial fertilizers. Can you see? If you do soil conservation, one of the ways to do your soil conservation is a crop rotation. You plant yam in portion A or plot A, plant beans in plot B, plant maybe soya beans in plot C. Then the next year, you rotate it. You now plant soya beans in plot A instead of yam. So that is soil rotation. It does a lot of things. If there is any pest on yam in plant A, that pest is basically, it usually affects yam. By the time you plant soya beans, biologically, that pest will be eliminated because that pest will not find that soya beans favorable again. So these are one of the things that crop rotation does. So it also helps to conserve the soil. Now, when you have agroforestry where you now have trees, sadly, in Nigeria, they are felling down trees every day. So as firewood, and we are not planting it, we are not replacing it. So what these trees does, those of you that are from south, southwest, southeast, then north central, even part of northwest and part of northeast, where you have forest. If you go to this forest, you see how the soil is. The soil, you will see that the soil there is healthy. You will see that the soil there is good. You see that there is conservation, very good management that nature have done just because of those things. Mr. Linus Ono Emmanuel, please, can you mute your mic, please? So now, what are the role of soil in environmental sustainability? Soil is also central to environmental sustainability because it regulates many ecological processes. The soil health impacts biodiversity. It impacts climate stability. Thank you, Mr. Linus, for muting your mic. So it also impacts water quality and the overall functioning of natural system. If the soil is good, it is healthy. Biodiversity, you are talking about animal, plants, and the land. That is on soil. It also talks about climate stability. I hope we all know that there is what is called carbon trading. This carbon trading, what happens is that there are international organizations. It has even been articulated by various world bodies. So that is involved in climate action. What's carbon trading? One of the things that happens is that they will come tell you, this village, plant this tree, maintain this tree, so that they will be able to absorb carbon. That is carbon sequestration. Maintain this tree, do not fell it over a period of time, and we will pay you money, we'll be paying you money. So, and a lot of companies are being held to account because they will ask you questions. This thing you produce, agriculturally, you have produced chocolate that we are eating. Where did you produce it? How many trees did you fell? What did you do to be able to make sure that you compensate for that trees you fell, so that it will not harm the environment, so that the product you are producing for us to come and consume to make profits will not harm the environment and the people living around it. So it happens now. In fact, it is one of the lucrative aspects of agriculture. So now we talked about carbon sequestration, that is soil taking carbon. We talk about water filtration. Of course, you know that soil can help to filter water. You've seen, you can even in primary school and the secondary school, you will see in classes, science classes, using soil. You can use soil to, filter water that was dirty. That is the way you will put portions of soil, various type of soil, and as the water is coming and is dropping, you are now seeing clean water. So water filtration. Soil also supports biodiversity. I've talked about that. That is the biodiversity. You are not talking about plants, animals, and the environment. That's the soil. So soils are home to wide variety of organisms, including fungi, bacteria, earthworm, insects. These organisms contribute to nutrient cycling. These organisms help in either their activity, either by action or inaction, they contribute in nutrient cycling. Either they take that nutrient from point A to point B, or in their activities unknowingly, as they are breaking the soil and growing, they have created a pathway through which this nutrient will move from point A to point B, or through which water will now come in contact with the soil and be able to, dissolve some minerals that is attached to the soil and further break this soil down break this rock down to become soil, or release these minerals that now becomes a nutrient to the plant. So you can see activities of soil. Soil also help in erosion prevention. Healthy soil prevents erosion by binding soil particles together and allowing vegetation to thrive. Practices such as agroforestry, ground cover, no-tilling farming help to protect soil from wind and water erosion, thus preserving the land for future agricultural use. So you can see a good soil will encourage plants. And when plants is there, it becomes difficult for erosion to take place there. That is in that particular place. When there is vegetative cover, when there is plants that has covered that place, one of the factors that brings about soil erosion is when that soil is bare, is open. It's open to rain. It is open to sunshine. Because when sun shines, temperature is increased. And I talked about weathering, physical weathering, when temperature and pressure result in the breaking down of rocks. So what about rain? When rain falls, you have noticed if rain is falling now, you pour water on the floor, on soil, on the floor, you will see if the higher the point at which you pour that water, as it falls on that, you see it splashes. That's it takes away certain quantity of soil. You may be seeing those soil or not, but it takes away the soil. So that's soil erosion. The soil is gradually being eroded. So now the one the flood will do can only do it when the place is bare. But when you have trees, plant cover that place. If it tries to move the soil, it will not move it far. It will move it, for a short distance. So both the nutrients and the soil will still be within the region. But when the place is bare, is open, you discover that when flood comes, it carries the soil nutrients from one point to a very second, another point is very, very distant. So now let's look at soil, that is the key practices for soil health management. There are key practices, things we must do for soil health management. Number one is crop rotation. I've talked about crop rotation. So in crop rotation, when you practice crop rotation, this is the things that will happen. Example of things that will happen. If you plant leguminous crops there, things like your beans, that's cowpea, things like your soya beans, things like your granules. So they are all legumes. So, they usually help to retain nitrogen. They even help to produce nitrogen. So if you plant it, you have noticed that if you plant all these three things I made mention of, if you plant soya beans, beans, granules, even sesame seeds, they are all leguminous. If you plant it you now discover that if you plant another thing there, it will grow because they have deposited nitrogen there through nitrogen fixation. And that is why you also discover, those of you that plant this in large quantity, you discover that you spend money in buying fertilizer when you plant these cereals because they are heavy fertilizer taker, especially nitrogen. Whereas if you plant beans, you don't, they help to produce nitrogen. So in doing crop rotation, if you plant a leguminous crop there, it helps to replenish nitrogen level there in the soil. Now, if you leave it the next year and plant root crops like carrots, it helps to break up compacted soil. If the soil is compacted, it will help to break it down. Now, next time, if you now plant cereal crops like maize, like wheat, like, sorghum, millets, it now helps with soil structure and organic matter content. It will help in soil structure and, the leaves becomes organic matter. Another aspect is cover cropping. Cover cropping. That is one of the another management, another management practice for soil is cover cropping. It is the practice of planting non-cash crops during the off-season or between main crop cycles. Now, these crops are not harvested, but instead they serve to rotate and improve the soil. The benefit of cover crops is erosion control, weed suppression, improving soil texture, and enhancing nutrition. I don't think some of us are doing this as farmers. That is, when you are through with planting, you now plant just plant crops that you are not going to use, so that they will now act as a cover crop, because the more plant covers the soil, the more it helps. That particular region, you discover that transpiration and evaporation will not be as high because of that cover crop. That is a amount of water leaving the soil to the atmosphere will be reduced because of that plant cover. It will also help to suppress weed. Now, another practice is organic matter enhancement. Organic matter helps to improve soil structure. It helps to enhance nutrient availability. It helps to support soil organisms. It helps to support soil organisms. Please, if this thing is not coming in slide, do not worry. You will get everything. It is both in PowerPoint and on a PDF. Now, let's take a look at tools and techniques for assessing and improving soil health. What are the tools and techniques we are going to use to assess and improve health? We have been talking about soil health. This is what happened to our soil when it is healthy. This is what it will give us. This is what it will give. This is what will happen to our agri. That is our farms. This is what will happen to us as a farmer. And so there will be productivity. Now, what are the tools and techniques we are going to use to assess and improve soil health? Blessing Chinyere, please mute your mic. Iromagabi, please mute your mic. Now, for soil testing, regular soil testing is essential. So, regular soil testing is essential for understanding the nutrients content, the soil pH, and other properties of the soil. Now, key parameters. So, let's look at the tools and techniques for assessing and improving soil health. Soil testing. If you are to test your soil, you should be able to know, you are to determine the following. You will know the soil pH, your soil pH. You will know the nutrient levels. You will also know the organic matter content when you want to test your soil. Now, regular soil testing is essential for understanding the soil nutrients, understanding the soil pH, and other properties of the soil. So, earlier I said that soil pH determines nutrient availability in your soil. Soil pH determines the type of crops that will grow in that particular soil. Soil pH also determines even the type of fertilizer you will use. But thankfully, you can easily address the soil pH. If, for instance, your soil pH is on the, that is lower side, which is acidic, you can use potash, you can use lime, you know, to that is bring it to the level where it will be okay to tolerate plant growth. Then if the soil pH is alkaline in nature, you can now introduce acidic components to neutralize it, because I talked about the soil pH that it ranges from 0 to 14. 0 to 14. That, you know, and the neutral is around 7. That is where you have the neutral. So now, if your, what do you call it, your soil is between 1 and maybe 5.9. Remember, we said that 6, between 6 and 7, that is the best soil pH, you know, for plants, for nutrient availability and for plant growth. So if it is less than that 6, that means it is acidic. So you can treat it. If it is
if you show people that you do not have unity among you, you are already to introduce conflict. I always wonder what right, what is right.
Now let's continue from talking about tools and techniques for assessing and improving soil health. Talk about knowing the pH, talk about the nutrient level, talk about the organic matter. Another tool is the soil health indicator. Soil health indicator. Now, the soil health indicator. The soil health indicator, in addition to laboratory testing, Several biological and physical factors can help to assess your soil health. For instance, your soil texture. If you look at your soil texture, you will know if that soil is healthy. You know if that soil has nutrients. You also know if the soil does not have nutrients. You know, you can pick your soil and feel it. You know, if you physically, if you pick a soil now, you will know if the soil is loamy, if the soil is sandy, or if the soil is clay in nature by mere feeling it, by mere looking, just using your hand to feel the soil. So another indicator, soil indicator that will help you to know that the soil is good is the soil microbial activity. Soil microbial activity. Now, the presence and activity of beneficial microorganisms, such as bacteria and fungi, are indicators of a healthy soil ecosystem. So, if we have, like I said, you can use physical method to check your soil texture. Also, if you see a good soil, you know, earlier I said that if you have soil where you see earthworm cast, that is an indication that that soil is good. That is the soil microbial activity. Now, you also see that is a presence of beneficial microorganisms like bacteria, like fungi. That also shows that your soil is good, that your soil is good. There is also what is known as earthworm count. For the earthworm count, I believe I've talked about it. That is a situation where you have earthworm, you know, you have activities of earthworm in your farm. You know, the more they are in that region, you know that that soil is fertile. We also look at the soil aggregate stability. Soil aggregate stability. Soil aggregates are clumps of soil particles bound together by organic matter. Well-formed aggregate soil, it improves the soil aeration and the water infiltration. Now, what are the practices for improving soil health? How do we improve the soil health? One of the ways we are to improve soil health is reduce tillage. You know, there is what is known as a zero tillage. So zero tillage is that type of farming where you just use your hoe, open the soil, and plant your maize, your beans, etc. That is zero tillage. Now, reduced tillage is maybe where you use your hoe to make ridges.
So let's gather like that. Now, to be 25. So we are right now. What is the heart of the no what now? My thinking sharp and what you have the card.
So now, talking about reduced tillage. For reduced tillage, you have your hoe, you have your knife. That is reduced tillage. The maximum tillage is now when you are using things like tractors. Another practice to improve soil health is adding organic amendments. Adding organic amendments. That is by incorporating compost, by incorporating manure, by incorporating green manure into the soil. It helps to increase the organic matter and nutrient availability. You've seen compost You can compost your fertilizer, things like animal waste, plant waste. You bring it together, including soil. You know, that will help you to do your compost as well as your manure. Another practice is mulching. Mulching. If you mulch your soil, a lot of things happens. If you cover your soil with organic material, such as straw or leaves, it helps to retain moisture. It helps to suppress weed. It helps to add organic matter as it decomposes. Take, for instance, if you have your, what do you call it? You have your garden, your Ogo garden, or you have your ginger farm. You have noticed that farmers usually, what they do is they will now cut leaves, you know, and they spray there. It does a whole lot of things. It helps to reduce the amount of water coming out of the soil. You know, if the soil is bare and it is exposed to sunlight, the temperature will increase. And when temperature increases, you know, water has a cycle. We call it. So at this point in time, let's have a break. You know, we have gone about 1 hour, 20 minutes. We will use the next 30 minutes to conclude. Let's go on a break for 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll be back so that we'll get maximum value and impact. Thank you.
It's like he has problems with protecting documents. Every time any issue like involving processing documents is taking time. Look, I think we are going to the purpose.
Hello. It's not stable for you to repeat the program.
Admin, please help us unmute these people that are making noise. Help us mute these people that are making noise. Help us mute them, please, admin. It discourages people from listening.
Yes, I think we observe what you have just pointed out. And we are calling on everyone that your microphone is on to mute it until it's time for question and answer. That is when your contribution will be useful to us. So otherwise, I will
please try and
just go ahead and mute everyone.
Yeah, you can do it there, admin, please. It's not helping matters here.
And every escort that comes there must be function.
I've used this. Can you see? Huh? Still the same. This is what you are saying. Close it down.
No, don't talk about that. Mommy. Eh. Agụ. Thank you. Anything I like this. Na gajiya. Ya kokari. Sannu. Yawa lafiya. Mas ia me dizer. Confirm your password. How she is here? This meeting. Oh, materials. Oh, from the beginning. No.
Like my own is
So, are we ready? Are you on Zoom?
Let's say something small.
Welcome us back from the 5 minute break that we just had. Before we move on to the next segment, I would like to call on our CEO, amiable and workaholic CEO. Give all the words of encouragement while we the next Ajay, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Aawdifamily nationwide. I love you all, and I congratulate you for your decision to be on the positive side of Nigerian history. Together at Aawdi, we will work tirelessly until we bring food security to stay in our nation. A lot, I can see that the turnout is very poor. The number of that are here. We are so happy that you make out time for your very busy schedule to attend this training. We are organizing this training because we know the importance of it to our movement and to the benefit we are all the benefit that we are all expected to enjoy through these organizations. Let me inform you that all the effort Aawdifamily farmers for food sufficiency is making locally and internationally, it is geared towards impacting the lives of you and us and our people nationwide and Africa. But wherever we go, the question that we normally meet is whether our people have the capacity to perform in giving these benefits we are looking for. And we are trying to prove to them that yes, we have the knowledge and have without training you to build the capacity in you. Because if you are giving loan, you are able to manage your own you'll be able to manage your own agro setup can be processed. And we want to ensure that you have the capacity to handle whichever aspect you select for yourself. And that is why we have just started. Are going to dwell heavily on training, and we have to go. So in preparation for farming season 2025, let everybody care of many more training coming through Zoom, through physical, and through whatever channel. But many more training as a duty, whatever channel, serve as a duty, presenting yourself or making yourself available. Because if you are interested in benefiting anything that we, in anything we are interested in benefiting anything that we members of this event, across to the members of this group, then you just have to have the capacity. And how do we make you get the capacity? It is through training. So if you are lagging behind when we organize training, automatically we are going to make use of the list of people that will see participating in the meetings at any time we call for training. Today, I realize that a lot of people fill the form or wrote their names in various platforms as interested in participating in the training. But I'm seeing only an average of 30. I'm just seeing 30 6 or 41. I've not even seen any numbers up to 50 since the inception of training. So I am watching, and we are watching. The management of Audi is watching, and from here we create a criteria we are going to use to disseminate information or discussion of early benefits that comes our way, or sharing of benefits that comes our way. So whoever wants to progress through this Audi to make him or herself available for training, because time will come, they will ask you for your certificate. If you want to go embark on fish farming, they will want to know whether you have capacity to handle the fishery, or if you want to go on poultry, they will ask whether you have capacity to handle poultry business successfully. So we are at Audi ready to provide you with the knowledge and capacity it requires to make you eligible for these benefits. So your duty is to be available. I thank you all, and I thank my director, training and strategy, director technical, and all that is making it. I thank our director, director admin, and our graphic designer for making sure that we have all that we need for this successful training. Thank you all for coming out, and God continue to bless us, bless our member, and bless our country. Thank you all.
It's like your YouTube is on.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. We appreciate the training. God be with you.
Thank you very much, our distinguished CEO, our able, resourceful, and capable Adia. Yes, he has that passion, the passion to see to food security and sustainability. Individually, ordinarily, she would have just concentrated on her own, but she is burning with that desire to make sure that millions, come together to ensure food security as well as enhance food sustainability. Because if you are hungry, you don't think about any other thing. Not only that you are angry, you are ineffective, you are unproductive, your energy is channeled negative. So, thank you for Aawdifamily. I want to thank each and every one of you very immensely for your time. And just like the CEO has promised, no knowledge is a waste. In fact, one of the reasons why farmers in developing nations are poor is because of gap of knowledge. If you combine knowledge, technology, and your farm, you make millions. And when you are wealthy, you have food security. Nobody will trample on your rights because it will snowball to a whole lot of things. It gives you self-confidence, it gives you freedom, financial freedom. It gives you the capacity to take care of your family and your relatives. And when it is time to make your personal decision, like during voting, you vote your choice. You're not going to vote because somebody gave you 2 cups of rice or a loaf of bread. So you can see the immense benefits of agriculture. So let's continue. We talked about mulching. That mulching is where you cover your crops with leaf. Once you are cut out, you use it to reduce intensity of sun on the soil. You also use it to stifle the growth of weeds. You also use it to retain water, because if you, for instance, your ugu leaf, you mulch it, you discover that the water level in that soil will not be transferred and evaporated easily like the one that is bare before the sun. So that's what mulching does. So if you mulch your farm, your garden, whatever it is, you notice that one, it helps you to handle weeds. It helps you to retain moisture, that is water. It helps you to suppress. It helps you to reduce the temperature that would have taken water away from your soil through evaporation and transpiration. You have seen the type technologically they are putting up these days. If you check some farms, some greenhouse farms, you will see this nylon mulch. We use black nylon, cover the ridge, and now perforate. The openings are where you now see plants. And with that, they will also pipe their, water. Excuse me, pipe their water towards those holes so that water goes directly to the plant. Anything that is not plant, that is a weed in that farm, dies, because that mulch, that aluminium, tampon or plastic mulch, because it is black, black attracts heat. So it kills any plant that is not stationed, that is on that those perforated holes. Also, water goes water goes directly to the plant. So the plant is enjoying water. The plant is also not competing with weed. Now, how do we promote soil health and sustainable practices? Number one, we will do it through ecology, agri-ecology. This is the approach that integrates ecological principle into agricultural practice, using natural process such as crop rotation, intercropping, and the use of organic fertilizer to improve soil health and minimize environmental impact. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished farmers, one of the challenges we have today, especially in our health sector, is because of the food we eat. So you can see, as a member of Audi, it's not only that you are being trained, you are being put in a group, in a community, in an ecosystem where you have knowledge, where you get technology, where you have access to funding, where you have access to, all the factors to produce, that is ensure food security and sustainability, as well as create jobs, wealth, and ensure development.
You are also doing extra
mile,
in the health aspect.
In the health aspect. For instance, do you know that in Nigeria, so many things happened? Let me give you one or two case in points. In the north here, especially, the type of banana we eat here is the type that they use calcium carbide, to ripe. Calcium carbide is the type of carbide these people that these welders, all these people that paint cars, that carbide they put inside their cylinder, it will begin to release gas that will bring flame, that will sustain flame, oxyacetylene, sustain flame they will use to maybe cut iron or do anything. Or when those of us that grew from the village, the carbide you used to put inside during Christmas or festivity, you put it inside, put water, and they begin to bring out gas. You cover it with what do you call it? You cover it with a tin. Perforate that tin. By the time you now remove it and put fire there, it will make a loud sound, a noise. That gas will like explode. So that's what they used to ripen banana, not only banana and other things. And this is carcinogenous substance. When you take this thing knowingly or unknowingly, over time you begin to talk of cancer. What about meat? Do you know that if you go to market now, and most of the meat you see, you don't see fly there? Do you know the type of chemical they use to chase the fly with? Injurious to our health. I even learned recently that they are now using black polish, to polish dry fish so that it will look blacker. They will now use oil so many things. If you don't have this knowledge, you begin to suffer. But if you have this knowledge, you either control it or begin to work on what do you do? What kind of food do I now take to make sure that that it clears this thing, it helps me? Have you noticed recently in the last 15, 20 years that the propensity of, what do you call it? The propensity of kidney, liver, heart-related disease, cancer have increased. Reasons. 1 is because of the food we eat. 2, abuse of drugs. 3, our lifestyle. And what is interesting about agriculture is that agriculture can take care of these 2. So these are the things that happen when you have understanding and knowledge in agriculture. So with this training, there are so many things you can do for yourself. You will also have knowledge. Now let's continue. For promoting soil health, another thing is conservation tillage. Conservation tillage. Director technical, identify that person and mute the person. So conservation tillage. Now reducing tillage minimizes soil disturbance. It preserves soil structure and reduces erosion. Now, no-till or reduced tillage practices increase water retention and promote healthy soil. Another one is composting. Using organic waste to produce compost. It adds essential nutrients, organic matter, back into the soil. It also enhances its fertility and microbial activity. Then we talk about cover crops. We have talked about cover crops and its importance. I've explained it. We've also talked about soil testing. Now, I want us to understand. Have you noticed that in the north now, because we do farming on a piece of land over a period of time repeatedly, have you noticed that you cannot do that farming? You cannot produce, you can't get reasonable products from that farm if you don't use fertilizer. The reason is because you have exhausted the fertilizer that is the nutrients that is in that soil. As a result, you are now to use fertilizer. Even when you use the fertilizer, you should be able to know the health of your, what do you call it, the soil, before you can apply your fertilizer. Because if your soil is not healthy and you are applying fertilizer that is not organic, if it is organic, it will help you. But if it is not organic, the benefit is immediate and immense. But then the long-term effect is injurious. For instance, you see this, our NPK we are putting fertilizer. The secret is that it is just 20% that gets to the root. The rest are washed away through leaching and erosion. That's number 1. Then 2, over a period of time, that soil becomes, acidic. or alkaline
over a
because
period of
of
time.
that
That soil
fertilizer if it
becomes
is not organic.
acidic.
So
So
knowing
knowing what will really help you to know the type of fertilizer you will use. Now let's look at the threats to soil health. You know, we said that soil is like human being. As a human being now, mosquito is a threat to you, of course. True. So cockroach is a threat to you.
Your microphone, your speaker, just turn it.
So now these threats, when they are available, one is that you try to mitigate or eliminate them. Otherwise, you have problem. If, for instance, you allow mosquito, if you make the place you are comfortable for mosquito, then you will be visiting hospital as a result of malaria. So, and if you now work hard to make the place you are uncomfortable for mosquito, you have also saved your health and people around you. So that's how it. So for soil, and you save money. And what to start with, what are the soil health? Number one is soil erosion. Soil erosion is caused by wind, water, and human activity. I live very close to the farmers very well. So because of research, study, and also my passion for agriculture, every day, because of the high price in gas, they have now resorted to firewood and charcoal. And as a result, a lot without replacement. And this takes our waste, the waste of man, the waste of animal, as its own food. If you go to, if you are waste now, whether sweat, whether poop, whether urine becomes fertilizer to the plants. That's how God did it. Animal, the same thing. Their waste becomes nutrients, food to the plant. Now, when they now produce their own food through photosynthesis, when they attract sun and produce their own food using carbon, you know, they now release oxygen as their own byproduct, as their own waste. And this oxygen is what we need as human beings to live. Can you see the interrelationship? Mm-hmm. So now, try to observe something about trees. Any day you are walking, especially during this time, this dry season, when you get close to tree, try to observe the type of oxygen you will get. And compare it with the type of oxygen, what you breathe when you go to a place where and that is the absence, where there is absence of a tree. You will notice that the oxygen that you will get within that, one is that you will get a shade within that tree. Two is that you get oxygen that is very refreshing, that is not mixed. Whereas if you are going to a place, if you are walking along a place, there is no tree, you will see that the air will be dry, like that the oxygen is not even much. So during erosion, because of you have laid soil that's before the elements of sun, of wind, of water, they will come and pack the soil, including the nutrients that was supposed to be very beneficial to your plants. So that's what soil erosion does. If you go to far north, you will see what wind erosion is doing. You know, because Nigeria is close to Sahara Desert. This wind comes, it is now some part of northeast, northwest from the border. If you go to that place today, because there is absence of trees, you will see that those places you now have sand dunes. Desert is gradually claiming this. And what
Nigeria. Indian food.
Network is. We can't hear you, sir.
How they take it?
Everything is just quiet. We're not hearing anything.
The network is bad. Who's calling?
Hello, good afternoon. Is the training over? Because I can see the house is so silent. The presenter is no more. So please, are we to go off or?
Please, we are not hearing anything. No, we are not hearing at all. And we could see that the lecture is ongoing.
Our presenter, are you still there? There is total quietness everywhere. We can't hear anything at the background. We are not hearing anything. No.
Please, we are not hearing anything here. Kindly unmute, please. We are not hearing anything.
It's always happening. Is it network or what? We can't hear anything. We can't see anything anymore. Please, admin, look into the issue. We can't see anything. We can't hear anything. We only see blank screen.
Should we call it a day?
Likewise here, we can't hear you. What happened?
I think they say we should prepare our questions.
This.
They say we should prepare our questions.
Now that
We are approaching to the end, and we should get our questions ready for answer.
I have an observation. My observation for the time of the meeting. Those that are workers, they cannot attend this meeting by this time. Why not make it on Saturdays as we used to do? And do you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Hello, kindly unmute, sir. You have muted your microphone. We are not hearing you at all, and the lecture is still going. Please, admin, kindly tell our speaker to unmute, please.
Yes, he has done that. Sorry for that.
Your pH, that is the soil pH.
You said?
Hello, you can hear me now?
It's okay.
I am very sorry. I muted my mic. Okay. Quickly. I said that one of the ways to determine the health of your soil is to know the pH value of your soil. That pH value, they are talking about the hydroxy ion of any medium. So now it is rated from 0 to 14. Now from 0 to 6.9 is acid or acidic. While from 7 or from 7.1 to 14 is alkaline. 7 is the center, which is the medium and the neutral. Now, if your soil, a lot of things will happen that might cause soil acidification. You know, that if, for instance, you use too much fertilizer, over a period of time, you will have there will be the acidity of the soil will increase. And when the acidity of the soil increases, a lot of things happens to your soil. One of the things that happens to your soil is that that is the macro nutrients is inhibited. That is their propensity to be available to your plant is reduced. So that's what happens. In fact, so many things happens. Then if, on the other hand, your soil is alkaline, too alkaline, then the micronutrients is those nutrients that your plant needs in smaller quantity, while macronutrients is those nutrients that your plant needs in large quantity. So when this alkaline soil affects your micronutrient, definitely it will result to stunted growth. It will impact negatively on your farming practice. So why this is important? Why this is important is that you now have a situation where you have a situation where you are putting fertilizer and you are not getting results. So that's what happened when the pH value, that is the pH value of your soil, is affected. If it is too alkaline, certain nutrients will not get to the plant. If it is too acidic, certain nutrients will not get to the soil. Not only nutrients, then the microbial inhibition. Remember, we talked about soil biology, that is the activities of a living thing inside the soil. When this soil is which is like a medium, which is like their habitat where they live, when it is now too acidic or too alkaline, then they will not be able to live there. They will not be able to do their activities there. And when that happens, it also affects your soil. Then the soil can also be toxic. It can also result to poor root development. It can reduce the organic matter. So these are things that happen when soil is acidic. When it is too alkaline, there is also nutrient imbalance. That is for micronutrients. There is sodium accumulation. There is reduced microbial activity. So what it means is that whether your soil is too acidic or too alkaline, it is not good for the microbial activity. It will affect the microbes. So it will also affect the soil structure, and it will result to degradation. It will also result to plant stress. You have seen a situation where you put your plant, you now come at, I'm almost rounding up so that we will now create. So please, for the person that is raising hand, I'm almost rounding off so that we can now take questions and do interaction. So, Williams, please, I'm almost through so that we can take questions, Q&A. So, you have plant stress. Have you noticed that there are times in your farm or your garden, not because the soil lacks water, you will go to that, you see your plant is very stressed, the way it's looking. At times, it may be because water, lack of water can result to stress before the plant dies. But a situation where you still have water, the soil is okay. I mean, to you, the soil is okay physically looking at it, but you discover that your plant looks stressed, then it is important you do soil testing. So as we begin to round off, let's look at the implication for, that is, poor soil for agriculture. It reduces crop yield. Both extreme acidity and alkalinity limit plant growth and reduce productivity. It leads to soil erosion. Poor root system and degraded soil structure can increase vulnerability to erosion. When your soil is poorly textured, it is like saying, wind, come and carry me. Water, come and carry me, I'm available. So, because it is poorly structured. And this, so it also result to waterlogging and poor drainage. Too much of water in the soil is not good. When the water stays, that is, the place is waterlogged, you know that there are, if for instance, your farm is flooded, you discover that virtually all the plants, all the crops you plant there will die, except things like rice and one or two other things that loves water. So then, what are the strategies to mitigate extreme soil pH? How do you treat soil pH? Number one, for acidic soil, you apply lime. I said it earlier. You just apply lime to neutralize. What you do is that you have taken alkaline substance to add to, what do you call it, a soil that is acidic. It neutralizes. It's like a case of hot water and cold water. When you have very hot water, you begin to apply cold water. It will now get to a point where it will be tolerable for you to take. So that's what happens when you apply lime to an acidic soil. It also helps to add, another thing you will do to that acidic soil is to add organic matter. This organic matter serves as a buffer for pH fluctuations. Now, for alkaline soil, what do? You add sulfur, that is alkaline now. You now add acidic substance like sulfur or gypsum. This helps to neutralize, drag that pH towards the center, which is the neutral point and which is good for plant growth. You can also add organic compost to improve nutrient availability. So now, in conclusion, we have come to looking at what we learned today. We looked at soil, the composition, how soil is formed. We started from how weathering soil is formed, good soil, a soil that is good and the one that is not good, what soil does to us as farmers, what soil does to our agricultural practice, what is a good soil, how do we determine the health of the soil. We looked at how do we test soil. Now, when you test soil and discover that it is sick, how do you treat it? It is sick in the sense that the pH value is high or low. How do you treat it? We also discovered various practices. There are ones that requires expertise. There are ones that requires our everyday activity to make sure that this soil is okay. And remember, like I started earlier, soil is so important. Soil is so important. There are countries that go to other countries to go and import soil, get soil for their agricultural activities. I remembered sometime there was one World Cup in Finland under 17. for their field, for them to get natural grass, they had to go to one of these West African countries to go and get soil that would be able to help them grow natural grass, because there, what they were using was synthetic grass. But because FIFA said that you must use natural grass, they had to look for a good soil. So, like I said earlier, we are so blessed. There is no portion in Nigeria where you will go during rainy season, lick your mango, throw the seed, or eat your orange, throw the seed that will not grow. But the onus is on us as farmers. The onus is on us as enlightened, educated, and exposed farmers to now leverage on the knowledge we have gotten to ensure that we get the best out of our agricultural practice. And this is what Audi is here for. Audi is here to educate you. Audi is here to extend hand, create a network of community. Audi is here to tell you this is the place to get it right, from production to sales, because when you are wealthy, you are happier. When you are food sufficient, then you are wealthy. And when you are you have food sufficient, it will also impact on your health. Recently, UNICEF said that over 33 million Nigerians are malnourished. That malnourished, what it means is that you see a child that did not take proper, that is good food, that did not take good nutrition from 0 to 5. Research says that they will have poor brain development, and it will affect them in life. So you can see what agriculture does. Agriculture can take care of your health, unlike the vitamin C you take that is synthetic. That, in fact, I had recently, I was reading recently, some ladies usually inject themselves with vitamin C more than 2,000 IU. That is the daily requirement, so that their body will glow. And it has been discovered that it causes kidney failure. So, but on the other hand, you as a farmer, if you now take orange, which also gives vitamin C, if you take it too much, the way God has done it is that you will just purge. If you just open your system to release that excess, it balances up. That is how nature has done its thing. It is different from that of man. So it is for you to understand that having good knowledge of soil will really help you as a farmer. So thank you, as I await your questions and other interactive section. Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank God for the training that we have just undergone with our Dr. Joseph Nduka, our resource person, a man that we are proud of, giving the devotions he has always deployed to Audi activities in the area of training and capacity building. And we want to appreciate all Audi family members for your time, for your patience, and then for even your commitments in making this day a reality. Now, from the question sessions, I think we have few questions here, but before we take your questions, let me also read our training schedules. Looking at what our director admin posted earlier this morning, if you are with me, just follow us to the chat box of the Zoom meeting. Then you will see that soil health and fertility, which are just been dealt with. Then second, we have water resource, conservation and management. 3, animal feed formulations and production. 4, organic fertilizer and pesticide production. 5, integrated farming. 6, climate smart production. 9, poultry production. 10, fish farming. 11, snail farming. 12 pig farming, 13 cash crop production, 14 crop storage and processing, value addition, that is 15 value addition and agro products, input and machinery sales and leasing, mushroom farming, agri expert, hydroponic and greenhouse system of farming. Yes, when you take a closer look at our outline for our ongoing trainings and the subsequent training we are going to be having, additional topics will come during the course of our training programs. You will know that Audi is here and prepared to take us through the journey of training, that is capacity building, wealth creation, sustainable agricultural practice, and help and assistance that we are meant to get from donor agencies. Yes, that is the benefits from federal government. I'm sure very soon our CEO will roll out our roadmap, and then our 4 or 5 cardinal pillars of our OD, what we intend to achieve, how we intend to live as a family, to have a life of wealth, life of food sufficiency, and then encouragement and training in the area of sustainable agricultural practice. All right, so that is it. And then before now, you know, we talked about certification too, like the online form we made available for our consumption. We talked about certifications, and from what the director admin posted earlier, I think yesterday, and this, I think he reposted it this morning. For those who are interested in certificate, which is the major criteria in assessing benefits from Audi activities. You understand? We have our cooperative. We're also in talking with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, at least 5 departments that have already indicated interest to partner with Audi. And from the discussion we had, it talks about building our capacity first to know whatever grant given to us can be used maximally. And that is why we are engaging our community in area of capacity building. Government cannot just give you money without knowing how prepared are you. Even international grants, organizations, they can't just give you money if they are not sure you are prepared to deliver. Because even in the free time, there's no free lunch. So they want to know, they want to know if you are truly prepared, and that is why we don't want to lag behind. You can see that from the pictorial evidence of our CEO, the meeting she recently had at Vice Presidential Villa Lodge. It also talks about empowerment too, and these are some of the conditions that were given to her. So after this meeting, for those who are still resilient in getting the certificates, the modalities for issuance of certificates will be rolled out by the director admin, mode of payments, and then the mode of delivery to each members across the 36 states of the federation, including FCT. And then for those members who may have joined the training from abroad, we also have your address covered too. So that is it. All right, looking at the questions we have here. Okay, the first one, Fola Shadi talked about mute. Okay, that one was done. I think it has been taken over by events. We can't hear you again. I think it has also been taken by events. Can't hear the resource person. Yes, that has been handled as well. All right. Then observation from Mercy Ngwanga Akanji. You observe that the day of meeting, is it not better to hold the training on Saturdays so that civil servants too will have enough time to attend? Yeah. There is a suggestion. I think our CEO is hearing us, and we'll try and see. Yeah, the director training is here. I think he will respond to that. Category of Nigerians. Because you might be so director.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I think the CEO and the board will look at it. We are an organization that is dynamic, that is people centric. So and have that a human face. So we look at it and look at the time that is favorable for all, because we want to carry as many that are interested along. So we look at it. The rest assured that interest as regards timing will be covered. Even if we do it in the afternoon, we will also make materials available. So for those that maybe are not available. So I wish they had reasonable number of Audi members, so that we will sample your opinion and take your feedback. If Saturday will be okay for you, we work towards Saturday. But the rest assured that all arrangements has been put in place to make sure that we give you the best. Thank you.
All right. And then in addition to that, shortly after the meeting, we will deploy a feedback form on the platform to also harvest the feedbacks of our members or the observation regarding the training we have done, and then Audi operation generally. We'll deploy that form. It's a survey form where everyone will be given the opportunity to air your minds as to what you observe from the training we have done, how you also want us to do better in our next class. We'll roll out the form sooner. That is it. And then Odo. Thank you.
Yes. Odabuchi, Williams, you can unmute your mic and ask your question. Thank you.
Odabuchi, are you still on the?
Unmute your mic. You cannot
unmute your microphone. Yes, we can't hear you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I've been struggling to unmute the mic. I must be brief. My name is Aawdifamily William from Isuzu in Enugu State. I really appreciate the coordinator of this program. In short, the lecture today is very, very marvelous. I really enjoyed it. So straight to my questions. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Straight to my questions. One, the tutor made mention of soil erosion. Probably, if I got it, we're saying that when soil is being exposed to rain and suns, it leads to soil erosion, if I'm not mistaken. Then my question is, we know that the trees help to prevent erosion. So, but because I base in cassava cultivation and I want to project the due process. So there was a time I planted, I discovered that the area where the tree covers the cassava didn't do well. So in such case, what is the importance of tree maybe being in an area where you cultivate cassava? That is number one question. Then secondly, should I go? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Second question. You discover that if you come down here to Southeast, their major practices is cassava and yam, majorly. So I want to ask, like, I've not seen widely area grown grains such as millet, corn. There was a time I wanted to go into corn, but they say that if it's not planted where people are around, that bush animals will do harm to that. So you discover that grains are not common practice in Southeast. So what area of land can you practice such grains in Southeast? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. A third question.
Well, with you.
Yes. pH, testing the soil pH. So I want to ask in terms of testing the soil pH, what instruments can the farmers, like maybe that is friendly to the farmers, they can use to test the soil pH to understand when the soil is acidic or because somebody told me last time that you can only take the soil to lab where they have lab, and if you discover that, if you understand, you discover that in Southeast labs are not common. You must, like my place now, you go far distance to test your soil. So what instrument can farmers lay their head that is very, very close to them, they can use to test the soil pH? Then my last question is, these days we are to commonly use chemicals to do the planting. I want to ask, these chemicals we use, are they contributing to the acidic or alkaline of the soil? That's my last question. Thank you, sir.
All right. In summary, I think your questions are many. The first one, okay, all right. The resource person will answer you. Is a
Okay,
doctor.
Aawdifamily, I want to thank you for those loads of questions. It shows that you are a very good student. In fact, I would have been very sad if at the end of the day, nobody asked questions. What it shows is that I did not teach anything. So let's start with the first. Anyone that I don't get, you help me, you remind me. The first question was about
erosion.
Erosion.
Yes.
He said the cassava that he planted under trees.
That was the second question. Please, the first question on erosion. What do you ask?
Erosion. He said that so when soil is being exposed to rain and sun, it leads to erosion. If I got that. And we know that trees is meant to prevent erosion in our environment.
Okay, yes.
So now the question is, I planted cassava last time, and some the parts were under trees.
Don't worry,
okay.
I've gotten your question.
Okay.
I've gotten your question. Now, yes, you know what happens is this. When a crop is planted, and when you have your plants in your farm,
yes,
they go for nutrients that is from the soil. They also go for sun, which they use for photosynthesis. They also receive rain. Now, what usually happens? Why you have weeds? That is when you now have unwanted plants there. You now discover that there will be competition for these three things that I mentioned and other things. As a result, that plant will not do well. So that area you planted your cassava, and because there is a tree there, tree has denied the cassava access to sun for photosynthesis to produce its own food. So it is also a big tree there that is taking nutrients as well as water from soil and atmosphere. So these three things, it is like a big shark taking what belongs to a small fry. So now, what do we do? You as an agriculturist who is enlightened, educated, and exposed, what you now ask yourself is, you look at the economy of the tree. Is the tree useful to you? If the tree is like a hybrid, a good hybrid of a tree, that can give you like 2-3 million naira every year. You see that what you do is you will still accommodate that tree's nuance. So you can even create this thing. I said a tree, get as much soil and nutrient as you want, so that I'll be getting things from you. I will not plant cassava close to you again. But if the tree economically is not useful to you, what do? I will advise you can bring down that tree and plant a cash crop that, a tree that will be economic. You get it economical to you. that will bring in money as well as food, to you. That's my advice. So because as long as you cultivate that your cassava is under that tree is like a big boy. It is taking away when water falls from the atmosphere, the tree trap it and say, this quantity is my own. Whatever that is left over is what will get to you, and it will not be enough. So then from the soil, it will also take nutrients and say, the nutrient within this region is my own because I'm the big boy. Whatever that's remaining comes to you. So you can now see, as well as the sun, you can now see the reason why the cassava suffers. So economically deal with the tree like that. If the tree is economical for you, then allow it. If it is not, you can bring it down. Since you are an advocate of afforestation, that is, you want to control erosion, you can even plant 2-3 trees, that is hybrid trees. There are 1 or 3. It's just, I'm giving you a very powerful information now. There are 2-3 or 1 or 3 you can plant there. In fact, if you plant up to 10 in that farm, you will no longer talk about cassava. Because when that 10 or 1 or 3 gives you like 10, 15, 20 million annually. So that's for the one. They know about pH. Now, how to test pH?
The number 2 is grain.
For soil testing, yes. People that studied soil science, in fact, that goes, when you even study soil science as first degree, you now go forward to begin to do soil biology, soil fertility, soil physics, and what have you. So there are so many aspects. Yes, because soil has biology, it has physics, it has chemistry. Yeah, you do also soil chemistry. So you do plant nutrition, soil fertility. So now, they are the ones that are into testing. In fact, Audi is also making an arrangement. There is an app. Audi is making an arrangement. That app, that agricultural app, already have a collaboration with Soil Science Institute of Nigeria. So all their labs in Nigeria, they know that is, they have access to it, as well as their personnel. So all these things are to make sure you get the best of knowledge. But then, if you want to test your soil elementarily, primarily, you see this, it is called litmus paper. In secondary school, in your chemistry lab, biology lab, you saw and litmus paper. So if you get litmus, you put all you need to do is take your soil, put in water, make it a solution, then dip that litmus paper. If it is too red, there's the one that turns, the color that turns to acidic, the one that turns to alkaline, and the one that turns to that is a bit neutral. So that will help you. That's a simple distance. If you also go to shops, even through Jumia and other this online distance, you can order for pH meter. That is what is called
pH meter.
That's litmus test. So that litmus test is a paper. So it's either in purple or is it purple or orange? So it's a paper. So when you use your soil, put it inside a water, turn it to make a solution. Then now dip this litmus paper there. If you dip it and bring it out, if it is too acidic, you will now see there is a color it will show on that litmus paper to tell you this soil is too acidic. You now know that this soil is acidic. Let me work on its acidity. Let me now go and pour lime on the soil. So if it turns to another color, this is too alkaline. Let me go and pour acid related substance on that farm. So then if it is neutral, if you don't show a combination of these two that shows you that it's neutral, that means your soil. You don't know that your soil is okay. So that's the second question. Then the third question, you asked about the East, talking about growing crops that, yes, usually cassava, tuber crops, that grains do not do well. There are a lot of disadvantage that you have in the East. So one of them is land availability.
Okay.
Here in the north, I reside in Abuja. In the north, a farmer can do comfortably 50 hectares of land.
Yes.
In the east, it will take a whole community to do 50 hectares of land. I am from the east too. Do you know that only Niger State in landmass is bigger than the 5 entire southeast? So land availability is one. That's number one point. The number two is the vegetative region, that is vegetation of the east. In the east, you discover that it is a rainforest area. You know, you have more of trees. So for you to even clear in the north here, you are not going to bother yourself for that 50 hectares of land. You may just see shrubs, and the little plants that tractor can just take care of. Then in the east, if you are talking about 50 hectares of land, it is a very serious job that you will now bring bulldozer, get chainsaw, begin to cut down trees, begin to take the stumps and what have you before you can even make the soil okay to do your maize. So what I will advise you in this instance is, why don't you leverage on those areas you have comparative and competitive advantage? That's it. That is the uniqueness about Nigeria. What is your weakness here is strength to another person. So that is the unity and diversity we are talking about. Where somebody from Sokoto will produce onions, somebody from Niger State will produce maize, somebody from Benue will produce sesame or produce granite or yam, somebody from East will produce cassava. So Nigeria will be going. So that's the way I will answer your question. The fourth question, please, before.
The first question, as we now leverage on chemical usages in our farming, those chemicals, what are they contributing to the soil? Are they acidic, or are they contributing to the alkaline to the soil?
What?
As we are now using chemicals these days,
okay. Thank you very much. Let me answer that question. You see, in fact, by the time you begin to know the workings, what Audi is doing, it's not that because I am a member of Audi. What they are doing, I've not seen in other agricultural organizations or cooperatives. So, you see, Audi is even going ahead. Audi is collaborating now with their mantra is that we not only that we want to produce food, we want to be ensure food security and food sufficiency, that we want food that is healthy and organic. So because of that, I know where companies have come to lobby to bring in money so that they can bring their synthetic fertilizer. And the leadership of Audi is saying no. We know the impact. We have studied the impact, the health implication of this. So we want to go for organic fertilizers. Organic, things that will add value. Think that at the end of the day, when we produce our food, people will eat it and it will enhance our health instead of destroy our health. So in that regard, for the question you asked, fertilizers, especially synthetic fertilizers, does a whole lot of harm. That is, if you put it in, if you don't know the right way to put it. And for you to know the right way to put it is when you have knowledge. For instance, there are places where they will ask you that for 1 hectare use 10 bags of fertilizer, a particular brand. But where somebody now use 2 or 3 bags of fertilizer in just a plot, which is 1/10 of a hectare, that becomes problem to the soil. So overusage, moderation is key if you want to use synthetic. Overusage, too much of everything is bad now. All of us know. So anything you use too much, except what God has put for us, He will know. He has done it in a way that nature will normalize it. But anything you take that is, too much, usually produce negative effect. So for you, Your fertilizer, let it be in moderation. Let it be in moderation. Audi is making effort now in collaboration. Very soon you will see powerful organic fertilizer that you can use just 1 or 2 bags for the whole hectare, and you will get powerful yield. In addition to that, you are also going to be trained on even how to produce in small quantity your own fertilizer. So there are so many things, because this synthetic fertilizer, they don't go get, like I said earlier, some of them, 25% is what get to the root zone. The rest cause acidity to the soil. The rest are leach or get eroded. So I think I have answered your question. The next.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Williams. I hope the source person have done justice to making. Bukola Swaga, is it Swaga Bada? The woman, I think Lagos State Director of Women Affairs. We welcome you. Thank you for being in the program. Okay, then Uluwa best. When is training on animal feed formulation and coming up? Because that is what I feel in the league. Director, training has started. Are you with us?
Okay, thank you very much, Director Technical. Thank you very much, Director Technical. Thank you very much.
Strategy is on seat. Who am I? I'm permitted to say anything I'm not supposed to.
So, for the question, I say, Bukola, Director Women Affairs. Okay, Lua best. Be rest assured that what you feel, you will get. You know, you will get value in quality and quantity. For animal feed formulation and production, understanding it will put so much money in your pocket. Have you noticed that up to 60% of poultry farmers and fish farmers are no longer in business because of the cost of feed? So I feel your pain. So you can see the effort Audi is making. Audi has put together, you know, meticulously these training courses and modules, so that it will impact each and every one of us positively. So we will arrange for that, and you will receive the training. You will receive the training, you will receive the, what do you call it, the materials.
Tell them to introduce themselves, because we are going to check states that did not participate in this training.
Yeah. So that's it. For even for other aspects of other training courses, we are not only doing the training. No, after this training, there are experts in Audi that will handhold you and hold you, make sure that you succeed. That is mentoring. So we have professors, we have doctors in various aspects of agriculture, we have industry players, you know, we have seasoned farmers, so we have organizations. These are things you will benefit as Aawdifamily. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I hope that
this is a wonderful one from our director training and
strategy. We're also working in consultation with the Department of Agri Extension, Department on Extension Program. Also, see how they can be part of the.
All right, thank you.
Thereby bringing government Audi members, where we can maximize whatever that is meant for agriculture and its practices. Then Oluni Adebola, thank you so much for this lecture. I really enjoyed the program. Oluni, thank you so much. We enjoy your participation as well. Oluni Adebola, please, what can we do to prevent soil erosion? The same person, Oluni Adebola James, say, what can we do to prevent soil erosion?
Okay, beautiful, Ronnie. I think it was during the course of the presentation, I listed it. There are so many things you can do. Cover crops will help you for that is reduce soil erosion. Trees will help you. You know, putting organic materials in the soil, because what happens to soil during erosion is like when soil is left bare, that is, they are stripped, there is no strip protecting them, there is no wedge holding them. You know, I keep trying to explain it. Let me explain it again. You know, let me use this scenario, a situation where somebody is valuable or something is valuable and the thing is vulnerable. You know, the propensity to pick for that item or material to be picked is very high. You know that. Assuming there is gold, and that gold is vulnerable, that is, not place it where you protect it. It can easily be taken, be stolen. So soil is valuable. Now, if you don't protect it with things like organic matter, if you don't protect it with things like cover crops, if you don't protect it with things like good cultivation, like crop rotation, when you rotate, you are helping to save, you know. And importantly, forests, trees, afforestation. If there are trees, remember when water comes, water knows no enemy. Water has no enemy. It will begin to carry everything on its way, including the soil. But if there is something that can wedge the soil, it will be like they are not taking this valuable item from this region. No matter how hard that water tries, it can only push it from a short distance, because there are a lot of, it's like you have security. When you bypass security 1, security 2 is there. Like trees I'm talking about, like the organic matter, the cover crops, the crop rotation I made mention, these factors, they are holding the soil. But when all these things are not available, this soil is valuable and you made it vulnerable, then erosion will come. I think I've answered that question. So if you practice these factors that I named, I enumerated, you know, it will help you to reduce soil erosion. In Nigeria today, because of felling of trees, it has resulted to soil erosion. It has resulted to flooding. It has resulted to a whole lot of things. Globally, because of deforestation, it has resulted to global warming. And when global the earth is warmed, that is, has a temperature higher than its initial temperature, what happens? Remember, the earth in the polar region, the North and South Pole are, because they are very far from the sun, they are always icy, you know, cold ice. That is water in a particular state, in solid state. Remember, water is a cycle. That is, it moves from one point to another. That is subject to temperature. If water is ice, temperature is increased, it turns to liquid. If that temperature keeps on increasing, it now turns to vapor. If it turns to vapor, it goes to atmosphere, goes there to go and condensate. That is, go there and pack itself and wait. That is how your rainfall comes. So when this heat is increased, this ice region cold region begin to melt. That is additional water. When it melts, it increases the water volume of the earth, which results in flooding. I hope you understand what I mean. So if you now practice sound agricultural practice in your place, you will help to reduce a lot. Even water conservation. For instance, in Nigeria, as far back as 1982-83, that was when Cameroon built their dam known as Lado Dam. So that dam was to take excess water during rainy season that comes from that is Niger and Mount Cameroon. You know, that now comes to our River Niger, our River Benue. They did that dam so that they will take excess water and hold. Now, the government of then President Shehu Shagari, thought it wise that a spillover of this water will cause problem for us because immediately that dam got filled, they will burst it, open it so that it will not break their dam. And they begin to have disastrous consequences on us, Nigeria. It begin to come down, begin to flood our River Benue, River Niger, up to Delta. Now, Nigerian government started a dam they're supposed to do to finish in 1984. But they didn't do it. Because they didn't do it, you are now seeing a recurring decimal every year during rainy season. That dam, Cameroon Dam, will get filled. And they will warn Nigeria, we want to burst our dam. Remember, this dam is, when flood comes, it packs your soil. So they will now open it up. Remember what happened in Lokoja and Delta, Bayelsa, and what have you. So it was because of this dam. So not only this agricultural practice, but other government policy implementation is also key to saving our soil and reducing or controlling soil erosion. I believe I've answered your question.
All right. Thank you for
somebody asked about hectare. 5 to 10 hectares.
Please, can we have online training material? Okay, this is okay.
Encourage them to put on YouTube channel.
Aawdifamily. Please, can we have online training materials? Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, for the material there is, I don't know if the material will accompany the certificate. That is, yes. So, yes, that's the management, the leadership will talk about that. So, what you have learned here is, the value. So, we will talk on that because materials are available both on PowerPoint and the PDF file or format. The next question.
Yeah, that is Messi. Mwanga. Question on tree shading when the trees are not economic form, we prune the lower branches to higher within wide waiting for the plant to economic form. The big trees serve as windbreakers, and they are littering into the soil fertility and tension. Another point. I think it's an addition.
Yes, it is. Yes, she is in order. Yes, what you said is in Messi. Yes, you are in order. Yes, the three, like you said, we've been talking about soil erosion. And this is like Papa that is holding, that is like something like a defender to that community. That's the soil. So when you take it off, it will also result to soil erosion. It will do. So what she has just opined or suggested is powerful. Yes, that is another aspect you can have. You can trim it. You can prune the trees, cut down those branches that is covering your cassava. So that the tree can be there, because the tree is there, is producing oxygen. It is also absorbing carbon. It is also good for the soil. It also helps control erosion. Yes, it's for us. Yes, Akinpelu, the question you asked is okay. What I will do, I will not, what I have emphasized here is moderation. I think why you are asking this question is if you use tractor, you know, compacting of the soil and what have you. It's moderation. A combination of both will be okay. If you also want to use tractor, 5 to 10 hectares, why not? So because you are almost in the medium aspect of farming, you're not a small scale farm holder again. You are transiting almost to a large scale farmer. So you can use tractor. Yes, you can use tractor because for labor, just like you made mention of, getting trustworthy laborers is a serious problem, especially in Nigeria. So, and it will also be expensive. Yes, you can lease, if you have access to tractor, you can lease your tractor, get the place cultivated, and do your thing. But if you now want to do a reduced tillage, maximum tillage, you can do that tractor thing. It will do the ridge, the harrowing, the plow, the harrowing and ridging. Then by so doing, it has unnected, you know, pulverize your soil. So next planting season, it will not be that difficult again for you to begin to even call tractor. You can do it, you know, manually. You can do it combined. You can also do it with tractor. So let me ask.
That is exactly what I wanted to add. Yes, that is it.
Any more questions?
From Bida, no, the Hulu, Ajang, Bank. And he asked this, that can we have the soft copy of this presentation because of the bad network? I think you have tackled that.
I should go to YouTube channel. Everything is there.
It's on YouTube, but it's also part of the package of our certificate delivery. So, please, can you make this lecture as handout so that we can buy it and study it? That was a different. If you have the certificate, you have the lecture material soft copy. You can print it and hand out.
Thank
you, sir, for the answer. I really appreciate and enjoy. What a wonderful presentation, so clear and simplified for the consumption of even non-professionals. God bless Audi CEO and the entire Audi NEC for organizing the training. More grace to the presenter. That is from Mercy, Wanga, and Kanji to everyone. All right, the network is not steady. Thank you, Jibril. Okay, man, we'll do our best to make sure all our network providers improve in their service. Thank you. All right.
Let's go to YouTube channel.
Yes. Before you call on our CEO to make a final remark and the wrap up from our, I think let me call on the director of training if you have any final word on what you have done before the final remarks of us.
Okay, thank you very much, technical. Thank you for
helping out because without you, we wouldn't have had this. That is at a point. And what I'm promising is that we have just next time is going to be better in terms of communication. You may not know what the CEO, the technical admin, and myself, we walk through the night just to make sure that this thing. You notice that even the notice was almost impromptu. It was less than 48 hours. So we have to work. So the CEO called. She works like a military officer. So they can call you by 12 to get information. And she works till 4 a.m. So these are the little sacrifices we are making. Don't worry, it's going to be better. All we are assuring you is that you will not regret being a member of Audi, because your capacity as an agriculturist will be enhanced. There are so many things about agriculture. There is even a portion of agriculture that deals with health, that is not Ayurvedic, where you use food as medicine. So there are so many things to be done. So you will learn a lot, and that is as an Audi member. So be rest assured that the next one will be far better than what we have just done. So we give God all the glory, and I will leave it here for the CEO. You must thank and pray for her. She is a passionate Nigerian. She is blind to religion, to race, her own, to religion, to tribe. Her own is merit. Do you know what you are doing? Are you ready to make Nigeria great? That is her own. They had opportunities to even not to stay in Nigeria. But she said Nigeria is her country. So be praying for her, be supporting her, be, doing your little best to make sure that Audi move forward. We are doing things in such a way that we will be first before any other agricultural organization. So you will see our roadmap in this time. Thank you, and God bless you.
One thing you have failed to add is there is a side of CEO that you have not mentioned. The first red oil that the people of Indonesia have ever tested was made physically on their land and then presented to them. All right, if your hands are not too busy with a clap of free, let's welcome our CEO as she makes her final remarks. Thank you, ma. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Once again, Aawdifamily nationwide, I love you all. Congratulations to you all. Can you see my hands? Can you see me? Yes, congratulations, congratulations for this decision to be part of positive history. You are helping yourself, you are helping the nation. Let's keep working. At Audi, together we can change the narratives. Together we can change the narratives. So let's keep working together and add to the total GDP of our country, make food surplus for ourselves, our families, our communities, and let's have enough to sell for money, and let's contribute to the total GDP of our nation. Let us help join hands together and remove the name of our country from the mud they are taking it to. The mud called hunger in a nation blessed with arable land, blessed with abundant natural resources, a nation blessed by abundant human resources of over 200 million. We cannot be hungry. Together at Audi, we are away. Thank you very much. God bless you and bless our nation.
Thank you.
There is a lot of benefit in Audi, so let's keep blessing.
Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thank you, CEO. One woman that wanted to have acknowledged her resilience in always staying to the end in our program. Unfortunately, she has hesitated. That is Mercy Waga. She has always been there, even in all our snapshots. She has always been there. But even though you are not here, I'm sure the message will be on the YouTube for you to go and watch. We appreciate your resilience, your commitment to each time we have our online training.
We encourage others to
please encourage others to also do that. Are we calling on anybody to give us prayer? Are we calling on anybody for prayers? Okay.
Anybody here?
You have closed, right? Okay, it's all right. After this prayer, please don't turn off your camera. You are going to turn on our camera and also have our group snapshot before we go.
Let's snap before the prayer.
Okay. So please turn on your cameras, your video camera, please. Turn on your video cameras. If you are still here.
We are up to 40 something.
Yes, I can see Olayinde Damola Alemayo, you are still here. Big Kwong Isaac Philip, you are still here. Taliu, Taminu, you are still here. Olua, Bess, you are still here. Zasha Nelson, you are still here. Yakubu Hansan Biga, you are still here. Edinwa Eugene Kechuku, you are still here. Zasha Nelson Malta, you are here. Folashade Queen Fellow, you are here. Fahad Bello, you are here. Linus Onu Emmanuel, you are here. So you are here. Rimayang Amos Igba, you are here. Jibril Okeme, you are here. Ansan Ibrahim Joibu, you are here. And the other two persons that are down. We appreciate your patience and your... Yeah, so now it's time for... If your camera is on, I'm taking it now. Yes, very boldly. Yeah, the first page is taken. Second page is taken. I'm on the last page now. Please, if your camera is still off, turn it on. Okay. So the last one. The first page I'll see take again. I'm not sure of the quality of that snapshot. Let me go to that first one. That is where you are. Resource person. Camera take. Okay, all right. That is it. Closing prayers. So I should take, right? Father, we thank you for an hour like this. You kept us alive while others are in the mortuary. We are grateful to you that we are here for learning today. There are those who could not have this privilege and opportunity for health, for accident, for one thing or the other. But here we are returning all the glory to you. Lord, this journey, we started with your name and we are going to end the journey with your name. In prosperity, we shall stand. In wealth creation, we shall stand. In food sufficiency, we shall stand. In sustainable agricultural practice, whatever favor we require to eat and dine with the king in Aawdi journey, we shall achieve it in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Heavenly Father, because we know you have answered us already. Blessed be the holy name. For in Jesus' mighty name we are praying. Amen. All right, that is all for today. Okay, then the form for feedback will be out shortly. We want to hear from you how you feel about the training, what you expect us to do better in our next sessions, and then what you want Aawdi to be. This is the Aawdi of your dream. Thank you and God bless you. Abi? All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We are moving forward. You see Mokasa Eyam. This is why you pull your shirt like this. I hope you are fighting hunger. Oh, some people even drop some questions.
Yes.
No, they are not even questions. Email, they will send email to our prayer. All right. Yes, yes.
I was afraid that very few will join.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
You know, I was in area 1. No, that they will not join.
Some of them will not join. Just fear.
Yes.
You know, me, I wanted to see how you come about it. Because remember when you in the afternoon,
I was afraid.